Hey, how's everyone doing today? It's Heisennburgg here. Before we get started, I'm just gonna apologize in advance. I'm actually kind of sick, so my voice and my nose are a little fucked up right now. My voice is probably a little nasally, and I have the sniffles, so I'm just gonna apologize in advance. Today I thought I would show you how to install Seasons of Skyrim ENB True HDR, and yeah, I just thought I would show you how to install it and what it looks like in game and stuff. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to head over to the link that I provide for you in the description, or you can just find it on the Nexus. Just go to the ENB presets category and it'll be the second, either the second or the third ENB on the page, or in the category. Excuse me. So, excuse me, jeez. So, you're going to scroll down to the installation section, which is right below this little werewolf picture. And it says you're going to use the 236 binary. So go ahead and right click on the ENB dev link and open link in new tab, otherwise it'll take you away from the Seasons of Skyrim page. So go ahead and install the 236 binary. And when it's done, you'll get a pop-up. And you're gonna need something that manages archives like WinRAR or 7-zip, but I'm obviously using WinRAR. It's all personal preference. So when you get your binary pop-up, go ahead and hit backspace and drag and drop the archive on your desktop, and we will come back to that in just a second. And then go ahead and scroll up to the top of the page and click the Files tab. And then go ahead and download with Manager the Seasons of Skyrim ENB Data Update folder, download that with Manager, because that's just the data files for the ENB. You can basically just download that with Manager, so you don't have to manually extract the data files from the actual ENB folder itself, which is a really nice feature. So when you get that, go ahead and find it in your load order and go ahead and activate it. But I already have one activated, so go ahead and activate this one. I'm obviously just going to leave it deactivated because I already have one. So once you do that, go ahead and go back to the main file section and then download manually the Seasons of Skyrim 236 complete. Go ahead and download that manually and then wait for it to finish downloading. It should only take about a couple seconds. And then when you get this little pop-up, go ahead and click backspace and drag and drop it onto your desktop, just like we did with the binary. Now, this step is completely optional, but I always prefer to do it this way just because I find it to be a lot easier. So go ahead and right-click on your binary archive and click Extract to ENB Series Skyrim 236, and it's going to basically change it to a folder, and it just makes dragging and dropping and copying and pasting a lot easier. And then you can delete the archive if you decided to change it to a folder. And then go ahead and do the same thing for the ENB archive. Right click and then extract to Seasons of Skyrim ENB. And then go ahead and delete the archive. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and locate your Skyrim folder. If you have an icon for it on your desktop, an easy way to find it or an easy way to get to it is right-clicking it and then clicking Open File Location. But if for some reason, or if you just prefer not to have an icon on your desktop, most people have it located under Program Files 86, and then Steam, Steam Apps, Common, and then Skyrim. And then this is your data folder, basically, or this is your Skyrim folder. Basically where TESV is located and Skyrim Launcher are located. Make sure you're not in your data folder, because that would just not be good if you copied and pasted those folders in there. So once you have your Skyrim folder opened, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to open up your binary folder, and then you're going to click the wrapper version. Make sure you're not clicking the Injector version. You will know if you have to use the Injector version. So open up the wrapper version folder and then only copy the d3d9.dll file and then paste that into your Skyrim folder, or you can drag and drop. It's up to you. A lot of other presets require both the d3d9.dll file and the enbhost.exe file, but the Seasons of Skyrim only requires the d3d9.dll. So once you copied and pasted or dragged and dropped it, whatever you decided to do, you can go ahead and delete the binary folder because you're not going to need it anymore. And then it says the next thing to do would be to drag and drop all the contents from the main files folder to your Skyrim folder. So go ahead and open up the Seasons of Skyrim folder, and then there's two different presets you can choose. You can choose the True HDR or the HD6 Tribute, and then there's a data folder, but if you downloaded with Manager the data folders that I told you to download at the beginning of the video, you can just ignore the data folder, which is basically this right here. So you can go ahead and activate that and just ignore that. I'm going to choose the HD6 Tribute, but if you decided to choose the True HDR, the process is literally the exact same, so don't get discouraged if you're deciding to choose True HDR. I've already tried True HDR, that's why I'm choosing this one instead. So whichever preset you decide to do, you're going to get a little you're going to get led to a folder with multiple folders, and you're going to click the main files folder, and you're going to copy and paste everything in this folder and then paste it into your Skyrim folder. And then if you hit backspace and you go back to optional effects, they have all these extra effects that you can choose from. I'm not going to mess with any of that, but if you decided to mess with any of it, you could just drag and drop or copy and paste it into your Skyrim folder and then overwrite whatever was there first. So, and then the next step to do would be to go to the performance options, and whatever, if you wanted like a more performance friendly version, you would choose the extreme performance version or any of these options. I'm going to go full graphics mode because I have a PC that can handle it. So whatever option you decide to choose, go ahead and copy it and then paste it into your Skyrim folder and then overwrite the folder, copy and replace whatever it asks. And then you're pretty much done installing the ENB itself, so you can go ahead and delete this. But we're going to have to tweak some INI settings first before we get started. So to locate your INI prefs, go to My Documents, My Games, and then Skyrim, and these are your INI prefs. To tweak your INI prefs, I highly recommend a program called Notepad++. It's a free program, and it's basically Notepad on steroids. It's really great. It's just a lot more organized than the typical Notepad. So it says that you have to edit bfloat point render target. Now this is a very important setting in your INIs, because if you leave it set at 0, what'll basically happen is half your screen will be black, and it isn't very good. So this is very important. So as you can see, there's lots and lots and lots of INI settings here, and an easy way to find your setting that you want to find is Control F as in Frank, and it'll bring up the Find menu, and then hit Control V. Here we go. Control C to copy it, and then Control V to paste it, and it'll find the setting that you need to find. Now mine already equals 1, so I can obviously leave it be. And then the next one is Draw Land Shadows equals 1, so Control C to copy it, Control F, and then Control V, and make sure it equals 1. Mine already does. And then Trees Receive Shadows, copy C, or Control C, Control F, Control V. Mine already equals 1. And then the Blur Deferred Shadow Mask, it says only change it to 5 if you have if your shadows are set to Ultra in the Skyrim launcher, and mine are set to Ultra, so I'm gonna have to change mine to 5. So Control F, Control V, and mine equal 3, so I'm gonna have to change it to 5. And those are all the INI prefs you have to change. So if you had to change anything, go up to File and click Save, or you can just Control S and that'll save it too. And then go ahead and close out. And then the next step is, sometimes I forget to do this in my other ENB installation videos, but we're going to have to tweak your ENB local settings. to configure what it is for your system. So that would be this right here. It's located in your Skyrim folder when you dragged and dropped all the settings over to your Skyrim folder. So go ahead and open that up. And the only things that you need to worry about is your the reserved memory size MB. I always personally leave mine at 512. But I know you can change it to like lower settings for better performance. Like I think another setting is 248, but don't take my word on that. And then video memory size MB is how much VRAM you have for your system, and I have 3 gigabytes of VRAM, so 3072. And if you don't know the correct number for your VRAM, you could just look it up on Google, and yeah, you would just basically have to configure it to how much VRAM you have. Now, I believe 2 gigabytes is 2048, but don't really take my word on that. Like I said, just Google it and you can find out whatever you need to know. And then another thing that I always do is under this little limiter section right here, I always change enable FPS limit to true, and then I change the FPS limit to 60, just so it doesn't overwork my graphics card for unnecessary reasons. So if you have a strong enough system that can get Skyrim up to 60 frames per second or higher, I would recommend turning on the FPS limit, and putting it at 60. So if you you're always going to have to edit these 2 settings. So go ahead and go File, Save, which I already did, or Control S, and then go ahead and close out of it. And the ENB is pretty much done now, and it did say that when you go in-game to put your brightness all the way down. So I'm going to go ahead and go in-game now, and I'm going to show you guys what this ENB looks like, just so I can show you guys that I installed it correctly. So real quick before we go in-game, I actually forgot to mention that that you have to disable a couple settings in your Skyrim launcher. So go ahead and locate your Skyrim folder and then click on your Skyrim launcher. And then go ahead and click on Options. And then Anti-Aliasing, make sure that's set to off. And then the AF, make sure that's set to off as well. And then you can go ahead and click OK. And that's basically what I forgot to mention. So once you do that, you can pretty much go in game. So I'm going to go ahead and continue the other video now. Sorry about that. My game actually froze when I opened it up, so probably because the recording software. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my game just to show you guys the ENB. Alright, game's all loaded up. If you get this message in your top left-hand corner, that pretty much tells you that you did do something right, you got your binary files all installed. And if you press Shift-Enter, it brings up this menu here. And, yeah, that pretty much tells you that you at least did that right, so Shift-Enter to get out of it. Now, I'm going to load a previous save so my game doesn't freeze again, so I'm going to load mine in the Temple of Mara. And if you press the star key on your number pad, it'll bring up a frames per second counter, which is a really neat little tool. Alright guys, well as you can see I'm in game and it's looking, I'm gonna go outside here in a minute just to show you guys what it looks like, but if you press Shift F12 it takes you back to vanilla Skyrim. And you can do this if you're deciding to do it for, like, performance reasons. But, I'm gonna go ahead and go out in Riften just to show you guys what it looks like outside. For some reason, my game always does this in Riften. It always, like, freezes for, like, 10 seconds whenever I leave a room. Alright, there we go. Alright, so Shift F12, and as you can see, it's looking really good. Now, a little cool console trick to get your weather not looking like this is bring up your console command, which is the tilde key to the left of the number 1, and type in FW space 81A. Press enter and then X out, and you'll have sunny weather. So you can pretty much walk around and admire your new ENB. But yeah, guys, this is Seasons of Skyrim HD6 Tribute preset. It's a really great preset. Like I said earlier, the installation would be the same thing for the true HDR version. So yeah, so that's how you install it. And uninstalling it, I have a previous video on the FXAA ENB manager and remover tool if you want to learn how to use that so you don't have to manually uninstall the ENB. Well, yeah, this is the ENB, guys. So if this video helped you, go ahead and like and subscribe, and if you didn't like the video, you can dislike it if you want. Really doesn't matter to me. So yeah, guys, thanks for all your support, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one.